the team spirit, the sheer joy of it, the many successes and the sadness, the meticulous preparation, the graft, and that fickle pitch. The League One 2009-10 campaign is a special season in town's history. It will be indelibly imprinted in the minds of every fan for years to come. A season which crucially shows that at last there is so much to build on, so much still to come. It's all here on this DVD, a 10-month journey of epic proportions. That was a new team you were putting out, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. I think it was always going to be a bedded-in period, you know. And we thought with some of the players that we had there, you know, some would gel a bit quicker than others, but we just didn't know. You know, it's a trial and error period, I suppose. And I thought we had a trial and error certainly on the first few games.
The 2009-10 season couldn't have started in a worse way for Swindon. Gillingham, promoted from League Two the previous May, defeated a Swindon side which contained 5 players who were making their debuts for the club. Mark Bentley scored the only goal of the first half, but Gillingham got 4 more in the second period, with 3 for Simeon Jackson. The scoreline was a touch unfair on Swindon, as Gillingham got 3 goals in the final 18 minutes. Adam Miller made it 3-0, before 2 more from Jackson late on gave the Canadian striker a hat-trick. After the heavy defeat at Gillingham, Swindon needed a morale boost, and they got it in style at Stadium NK with an emphatic victory over Paul Ince's side to go through to the second round of the Carling Cup. John Paul McGovern started the match in place of the injured Alan O'Brien, and the former Dons player put Swindon in front just before half-time with an inspired shot. Just after the break, the MK Dons were level. Lewis Goburn fouled by Lessinal Jean-Francois for a penalty. Jermaine Easter making it 1-1 and all to play for. Swindon restored their lead almost immediately. Kevin Amankwa set up Billy Painter for the striker's first goal of the season. 2 goals in quick succession then confirmed Town's passage through to the next round. Billy Painter was in the right place at the right time to make the most of Dons keeper Willie Guerre's fumble. And then Painter's header was put into his own net by David McCracken. The draw for the second round gave Town a trip to Premier League side Wolverhampton Wanderers later in the month. The fixture list meant Swindon faced the MK Dons again just a few days after their League Cup meeting. The first match of the season at the county ground ended goalless, but Town had their first point of the new campaign. This was a big test for Swindon, a local derby against a side who were determined to overcome their points deduction and challenge for an immediate return to the Championship. Swindon were outstanding on the night. John Paul McGovern's corner turned in by Sean Morrison for what proved to be the only goal of the match after 9 minutes. It was a test the Robins passed with flying colours, their first league victory of the season. Anyone who left Boundary Park before the conclusion of this match missed a thrilling finale, with 2 goals in stoppage time as the teams took a point apiece. Oldham led 1-0 at half-time, the goal coming from Alex Marrow. As Swindon pressed in the second half for an equaliser, they needed a moment of inspiration, and they got it from John Paul McGovern. 1-1 with 8 minutes to go. Into stoppage time, and the afternoon got even better for the 246 visiting supporters. Temitope Odobe's presence led to a poor back pass from Oldham's Ruben Hazel. Billy Painter showed his usual instinct and put Swindon in front. But the 3 points weren't secured, as Oldham, perhaps fortuitously, scored a second to earn a draw. Kieran Lee's cross went into the Swindon goal with just seconds remaining. Swindon, however, unbeaten in 3 and in confident mood ahead of the League Cup trip to Molineux. Neither side could score in normal or extra time, so it was down to a penalty shootout to determine who would progress through to the third round. Defeat and a Carling Cup exit for Swindon then, but the experience of a competitive penalty shootout would be remembered in May. Town's home form was looking good after a bank holiday Saturday victory over Southend United, who would eventually be relegated at the end of the season. This match had a beach party theme, and Swindon celebrated with a first-half goal from Scott Cuthbert, his first for the club following his summer move from Celtic. Southend had Jean-Francois Christophe sent off for 2 yellow cards, but it wasn't until 12 minutes from time that Swindon were able to make the most of their one-man advantage. Temitope Odebayi's shot was misjudged by Southend keeper Steve Mildenhall, a huge embarrassment for the goalkeeper, particularly as moments later Southend scored what could have been the equaliser. Damien Scannell pulled a goal back for the visitors, but Swindon maintained their advantage for a 2-1 victory. So after the opening day defeat, Swindon had recovered well. They ended August just outside the playoff zone and unbeaten at the county ground. September looked promising. 5 matches against teams Swindon would be extremely confident of beating. But it didn't work out that way.
I think we went through September with a lot of draws, if I can remember, and too many draws really, because we played quite well through a lot of the games, and we were getting better as we went along, but we couldn't seem to get 3 points, and no matter what we did, we'd concede a late goal, or we'd have to have a goal to draw the game, when we should have been out of sight on quite a few games, and we didn't take those opportunities. But so it was a decent month for confidence. We're not getting beaten, but we weren't really pushing on with the points.
Having lost at Gillingham and drawn at the MK Dons, Swindon made the relatively short journey to Hewish Park, searching for their first away win of the season, and they got it, thanks to an own goal from Yeovil's Terrell Forbes just before half-time. Swindon now unbeaten in 5 in the league. The rest of September was to be a frustrating time, with 4 successive draws, all ending with the same score. The first was against Colchester, who scored their first goal under new manager Adi Bothroyd to take the lead. Ashley Vincent shooting past Phil Smith, who was making his first appearance of the season after David Lucas was injured in the warm-up. Swindon equalised in stoppage time at the end of the first half. Breaking from their own half, Ben Hutchinson set up Tope Odebayi to make it 1-1. Swindon could have won at Walsall, but they had to settle for a point after coming from behind to draw for the second successive weekend. Walsall moved ahead after just 8 minutes. Troy Deeney with the finish past Lucas, who was back in the Swindon goal, having recovered from the knee injury that caused him to pull out of the Colchester match. Swindon started the second half on the front foot as well. Eventually, they were awarded a penalty when Billy Painter was fouled by Darryl Westlake. Painter's penalty unfortunately struck the post. Amazingly, it wasn't long before Swindon had another spot kick, this time handball from Walsall skipper Mark Hughes. Painter wasn't fazed by his earlier miss, a confident strike to make it 1-1. Swindon unbeaten now in 7 in League One. A late lapse cost Swindon maximum points against Wycombe. Kevin Amankwa's shot put Swindon in front in the first half, but they couldn't get a second goal to put the match beyond the visitors. With 89 minutes played, Wycombe got an equaliser. Ashley Chambers on loan from Leicester got the goal, a third successive 1-1 draw for Swindon. It was a similar story at Exeter on the following Tuesday evening. Again, Kevin Amankwah put Swindon in front, the defender's second goal in as many games, as he headed in the corner from John Paul McGovern. Exeter equalised in the 87th minute. Substitute Richard Logan with the goal. Some would see the Wycombe and Exeter matches as 4 points dropped, but Swindon were unbeaten in September with 1 win and 4 draws, and were nicely positioned in the top half of the table, with just 1 defeat in their opening 10 league matches. The signs were looking good for the season.
We were getting better in performances, but I just felt in results-wise we weren't perhaps getting what we needed to get, and that was still a concern for us, because we were dropping down the league, quite honestly. Even though we had this run where we weren't beaten too often, we still weren't catching up the top teams at that time, and that was a little bit of a concern. Not a worry at all, but a bit of a concern. But thankfully, you know, we were getting stronger. That was the main thing, and certainly getting to know each other a lot better.
I can tell you Danny was brilliant during that period of time, because I was a bit nervous that we were going into the season without what we were looking for. We had a very fixed plan about what we were looking for. We were very patient to find what we were looking for. But when you don't find it, you begin to panic a little bit, or there's a tendency to panic. So we knew we went into as the fans did, they knew we went into the season probably looking a bit thin. You know, we only had 1 striker. But equally, Danny was very, very certain that we shouldn't panic. It'll happen. You know, we'll find it.
October started well for Swindon at Brentford. Alex Revel scored his first goal for the club since joining on loan from Southend to put Swindon in front. Another on-loan player, Ben Hutchinson, made it 2-0, also his first goal for Swindon since arriving on loan from Celtic. The goal was created by some terrific play from Anthony McNamee. At 2-0, Swindon were cruising, but Brentford pulled a goal back with 12 minutes to play. Former Newcastle and Wolves striker Carl Court showed his class to get his first goal for the Bees. But if Brentford thought that was the start of a comeback, they were wrong. John Paul McGovern had set up Revel's first goal, and he did the same again, as Revel scored his second of the match to restore the 2-goal advantage. However, Brentford still weren't finished. Charlie McDonald got on the end of this corner to make it 3-2, but Brentford couldn't get another. A second away win of the season for Swindon, and at last that run of draws had ended. Phil Smith started this match in goal as David Lucas was rested, and Smith proved to be the difference as this Johnstone's Paint Trophy second round tie had to be settled on penalties. Anthony McNamee put Swindon ahead in the first half. But in stoppage time at the end of the match, Stuart Fleetwood grabbed an equaliser for the Grecians. With no extra time in this competition, it went straight to penalties to decide the winner. Swindon, going second, scored all 4 of theirs, while Phil Smith saved from Neil Saunders and from Fleetwood to put the visitors through. A second shootout of the season, the experience of which would be valuable come the end of the campaign. Or when the match saw a late debut as a substitute for a striker signed from non-league Poole Town. There's much more to come from Charlie Austin. Matches against Millwall are not for the faint-hearted, and this one was an uncompromising affair, with 2 goals and 2 dismissals. John Paul McGovern's corner was headed in by Scott Cuthbert to put Swindon in front after quarter of an hour. But Swindon's efforts to progress from there took a huge blow when Jonathan Douglas was sent off following a challenge on Jimmy Abdu. Over an hour to play, Swindon 1 man short. Just after the hour mark, Millwall had a man dismissed. Substitute Andy Frampton shown red for fouling McGovern. Tempers were being lost as both teams had to adjust to playing with 10 men. Swindon held on to their 1-goal lead until 8 minutes from time, when Danny Schofield equalised for the Lions. A tough match against Millwall, and there were more of those to come. On the plus side, 11 league matches unbeaten now. But that good run came to an end as Danny Wilson faced his former club. James Brown gave Hartlepool an early lead. and he then set up Andy Monkhouse for a second. Swindon's first league defeat since the opening day of the season. Norwich had lost heavily at home to Colchester on the opening day of the season and responded by bringing in Colchester boss Paul Lambert as their new manager. The Scot was busy turning things around at Carrow Road when Swindon travelled to Norfolk. Chris Martin with the only goal of the match. Tranmere Rovers marked their 125th anniversary at this match, but Swindon spoiled the home team's party by taking all 3 points as they returned to winning ways. Billy Painter, back in the starting 11, celebrated his recall with the opening goal. Moments later, Painter struck again for his 6th of the season. And the victory was effectively sealed when Temitope Odubayi set up Anthony McNamee for Swindon's 3rd goal. Tranmere were being outplayed. They did pull a goal back through Chris Shuker. In stoppage time at the end of the match, Simon Ferry got his first Swindon goal to make it 4-1. A healthy Halloween for Town, who ended October just outside the playoff places.
November, that was Charlie Austin's time, wasn't it? I think that's when, if I recall properly, that was his debut month. And I think it was a surprise to everybody. Not the fact that Charlie had come into the club. I think he was given the opportunity very early, and to score, which was incredible for the boy.
At the start of the season, I was playing up front by myself. Didn't have a partnership to strike up with. The gaffer brought in some long signings to try and find that partnership. And then Charlie came in. We only had one match together, which was Reading Reserves. And on that day we both scored 2. And I think from that day we've sort of clicked.
Swindon were paired with non-league Woking in the first round of the FA Cup. Billy Painter's first half header from John Paul McGovern's corner proved to be the winner. There were no goals in this match, so it went to a penalty shootout. Craig Easton's spot kick, Swindon's 4th, was saved by Fraser Forster. And when Jamie Curitan made it 5 out of 5 for the Canaries, the visitors went through. This was the 3rd time that a Swindon match would be decided by penalties. It wouldn't be the last.
Well, credit to them and the way they defended against us, but obviously going out in that Russian roulette situation is disappointing, but you know, it does happen, so we cannot take anything away from the performance, that's for sure.
Charlie Austin made his full debut for Swindon at Brunton Park, and it was quite a start, as the striker scored with just 3 minutes played. It was created by Billy Painter, a sign of what was to come from the striking duo. Austin made his full home debut a few days later against fellow promotion contenders Huddersfield. It was 1-1 at half-time. Billy Painter opened the scoring to put Swindon in front, but the lead only lasted for 4 minutes as Huddersfield quickly levelled through Lee Novak. Charlie Austin then thrilled the home fans with a goal to win the match for Swindon. 3 successive victories now, and for Austin, a moment to savour his first goal at the county ground. November ended with another cup match. For the 2nd round running, Swindon were drawn against non-league opposition in the FA Cup. A late goal from captain Gordon Greer secured a safe passage through to the 3rd round. Only 2 league matches in November, Swindon ended the month still in a strong position, just outside the playoff places.
I think December started quite well. We had a very good result in December. I think it was Leyton Orient where we beat 3-2, and it was a big 3-2 result for us. And I don't just mean by the result in 3 points. We've played really well.
What are you getting by the time you get to December?
A level of consistency. I think we've started to sort of get consistent results. Some good performances, particularly at home, and we've started picking up points away from home.
December was a straight run of 5 League One fixtures, starting with the visit of Leyton Orient. All 5 goals came in the second half. Alan Sheehan was fouled for a penalty, which Billy Painter scored from just after the restart. Orient equalised midway through the second period. Sean Thornton's free kick made it 1-1. But Charlie Austin then restored Swindon's lead, pouncing to turn the ball in following Simon Ferry's shot. Austin scoring for the second home match in a row and the 3rd game in succession. He hadn't finished either. When Billy Painter's shot was saved, Austin was in the right place to make it 3-1 to Swindon. But that wasn't the end of the afternoon's drama. Orient had a man sent off and then scored again in stoppage time. Another goal for Sean Thornton, but it was too late for the visitors to get another. 4 wins in a row for Danny Wilson's side in League One. So Swindon travelled to Bristol in good heart, but Rovers scored 2 goals in quick succession to take charge of the match. Andy Williams got the first after 13 minutes, and just a minute later Jeff Hughes added another. It proved to be a very disappointing afternoon for Swindon. Joe Kuffour made it 3-0, and there was to be no way back. When a run of good results comes to an end, the best way to banish the defeat is to immediately start winning again. So this was the perfect result for Swindon after the defeat at Bristol Rovers. A foul on Billy Painter in the area after half an hour gave Swindon the chance to score from the spot kick. Painter did exactly that for his 10th goal of the season. It wasn't long though before Brighton were back on level terms. Nicky Forster with the equaliser for the visitors, and it was 1-1 at the break. Early in the second half, Charlie Austin restored Swindon's lead. His 5th goal in 5 matches. Yet again, John Paul McGovern, the man who provided the final ball in. 3 successive home wins going into Christmas.
They gave us a real test today, I have to say, Brighton. It wasn't easy by any stretch of imagination, and but thankfully we got 3 points, and it's always nice to bounce back.
Boxing Day saw a trip to South East London to face a Charlton team who were in 2nd place in the League One table. Charlton had defender Sam Sodji sent off early in the match, but the 10 men of Charlton scored the first goal of this lunchtime encounter, John Joe Shelvey putting them in front. Moments later, Charlton had another player sent off, Dion Burton dismissed for punching the ball into the Swindon net. So Swindon were up against 9 men for the whole of the second half, and the 2-man advantage soon told. Kevin Amankwa set up Charlie Austin for the equaliser in front of the travelling Swindon fans, who had to be patient for another goal as Charlton defended well. Eventually it came, Austin the provider for Billy Painter. 2-1 to Swindon against a team 2 men short. Surely the visitors would collect all 3 points now. However, deep into stoppage time at the end of the match, Charlton snatched a point. Miguel Lera made it 2-2 with virtually the last kick of the match. Victory over Yeovil in the last match of 2009 saw Swindon end the year with 6 wins in their last 8 League One fixtures. John Paul McGovern provided the pass for Billy Painter to score his 12th goal of the season to give Swindon an early lead. Charlie Austin's goal-scoring exploits were beginning to be noticed nationally now. His 7th goal in as many matches made it 2-0. Yeovil soon pulled one back, a good goal from Gavin Tomlin, although whether he meant it as a cross or a shot, only he will know. A minute into the second period, the points were secured. Danny Ward with his first goal for Swindon since joining on loan from Bolton. A 3-1 victory, an excellent end to 2009.
Leeds was a massive result for us, particularly at that time because we needed to start closing the gap on certain teams. So I think then people started to get a little bit of belief, you know, in where we were going, or at least where we could end up if we carried on playing like we did. And thankfully, you know, the month of January was fantastic for us.
Swindon went out of the FA Cup at Premier League side Fulham. Swindon's performance gave them plenty of encouragement for the second half of the season. The only goal scored by Bobby Zamora. Swindon continued their League One campaign in fine fashion with victory over Gillingham in their first league match of the new year. Charlie Austin got his 4th goal in as many appearances to put Swindon in front just before half-time. Early in the second period, it was 2-0, Scott Cuthbert's 3rd goal of the season. Vincent Pericard came on as a sub for his Swindon debut, and the Frenchman who counts Juventus, Portsmouth and Stoke among his former clubs was soon involved. He was fouled for a penalty, and Billy Painter was successful from the spot kick. Gillingham did get a goal back, Chris Palmer scoring for the Kent side. It came too late to inspire a comeback.
Played very, very well at times today. I thought we were very comfortable, really tight, we were strong, created quite a few chances. I think going forward, I think we looked menacing.
Three days later, Swindon left it late before claiming the points from this encounter. Just 12 minutes remained when Kevin Amankwa was fouled in the area. Billy Painter scored again from the spot. 2 wins out of 2 in League One in 2010 for Swindon to take into the biggest match of the season so far. The visit of Leeds United saw the biggest crowd of the season so far at the county ground, who saw the Yorkshire side swept away on a terrific evening which reinforced Swindon's promotion credentials. Swindon made a perfect start, Charlie Austin scoring after 13 minutes against the team who earlier in the month had knocked Manchester United out of the FA Cup. 2 goals in quick succession in the second half secured maximum points. Both came from Billy Painter. This was the striker's 15th of the season, and his 16th soon followed. It was again a penalty, the 3rd successive match that Swindon had been awarded a spot kick. The 3rd successive penalty Painter had scored. A wonderful evening. January ended with a trip to Southend, and the visit to the Essex club started perfectly. In the opening minute, Billy Painter scored against his former club, and it wasn't too long before the lead was doubled. Charlie Austin had plenty of time and space to score when the ball fell to him, and the afternoon was going well. But it ended badly as Southend came back to score 2 late goals to take a point. 5 minutes from time, Scott Spencer made it 2-1, and 4 minutes later, Pat Baldwin got another. It ended 2-2. Nevertheless, Swindon ended January in a good position, in the playoff places.
We had a terrific run in February, unbeaten again, you know, and not only that, we were getting 3 points as well. We were taking 3 points on board, and we were starting to creep and claw 1 or 2 teams back above us.
It was a dramatic match at the Valley when these two sides met on Boxing Day, and this was again an encounter to remember. A well-worked move from a corner saw Kevin Amankwa put Swindon ahead, but just as at the Valley, Charlton scored a stoppage-time equaliser to deny Town victory. Charlton captain Nicky Bailey levelling in stoppage time. It was tough on Swindon, but there were to be better days to come against Phil Parkinson's side.
I think throughout the game, when you analyse the game and you watch here, you'll see how well we played. We've created numerous chances throughout the game. I think the pressure we put on on Charlton as a team was terrific at times. You know, from attacking point of view, I think when it just came to defending it and seeing it out right to the death, you know, we were showing a little bit of naivety.
After 2 successive draws, Swindon returned to winning ways with victory over Oldham. Billy Painter's fantastic shot put Danny Wilson's team in front as the first half drew to a close. And just moments later, it was 2-0. Charlie Austin was fouled for a penalty. Painter once more successful from the spot kick. Shortly after the restart, Swindon scored again. Charlie Austin claiming his 11th of the season after being put through by Danny Ward. Oldham were being swept aside, and it was no surprise when Swindon scored again, Danny Ward making it 4-0. There were a few anxious moments as Oldham did score 2 late goals. Firstly, Joe Colback, and then Jason Price in stoppage time. A 4-2 victory, Swindon unbeaten in the first 6 league matches of 2010, and extending their run in the league overall to 9 without defeat. With Norwich and Leeds looking strong at the top of League One at this stage of the season, it was looking as though Swindon's main hope of promotion would be via the playoffs. Huddersfield also had the same target in mind and took an early lead through Peter Clark. That advantage didn't last for long. Charlie Austin equalised almost immediately. And Swindon turned the match in their favour just before the half-hour mark. Billy Painter set up Danny Ward to make it 2-1 to the visitors. Early in the second half, Huddersfield levelled. Anthony Kay the scorer, and it was a point apiece from a terrific match. Swindon continued their strong form with victory over Carlisle. Charlie Austin's first half goal was his 13th of the season and his 3rd in as many matches. Billy Painter then reached a personal landmark. This was his 20th of the season. It sealed a comfortable win over the Cumbrians. Bottom of the table, Stockport were the next visitors to the county ground and the next team to leave empty-handed. Danny Ward put Swindon in front with an early goal, although his shot did appear to take a deflection on its way in. With the half-time break imminent, Swindon scored a second. Alan Sheehan's shot wasn't gathered cleanly by the visitors' goalkeeper, and Billy Painter pounced. There was still time before the interval for Stockport to pull a goal back. Greg Tansey with the free kick. Swindon scored twice more in the second half. John Paul McGovern set up Simon Ferry, whose header made it 3-1. And soon afterwards, Painter got his 2nd of the match and Swindon's 4th. A nice strike to crown an excellent Swindon performance. This was Swindon's 39th match of the season in all competitions, and only their 2nd goalless draw. February had been a good month. 11 points from a possible 15. Swindon still in the playoff positions, but plenty of work remaining.
We were very disappointed, especially Bristol Rovers at home. 4 goals at home, you should never concede 4 goals away, never mind at home.
Maybe, like I said, maybe that game had a bearing on the results that followed.
Swindon entered March on a high on a run of 13 league matches unbeaten, but that came to a shuddering halt in the first fixture of the month. Bristol Rovers had been the last team to defeat Town in League One back in mid-December, and the visitors scored 3 goals in the first half through former Swindon striker Joe Kaffour, Paul Heffernan, and a free kick from Chris Lyons. Jeff Hughes couldn't miss the chance to put Rovers 4-0 up. A poor Swindon performance, but this was only their 2nd home defeat. Swindon travelled to Stadium MK, determined to put their season back on track. But Aaron Wilbrahaven's goal for the Dons inside the opening minute was a blow from which Swindon couldn't recover. James Tunnicliffe made it 2-0 to the Dons, and despite plenty of chances, Swindon were unable to find a way back into the match. Until stoppage time, right at the end, Danny Ward getting a consolation goal. 2 defeats in a row, but at least this performance was far better than against Bristol Rovers a few days before. This was the middle match of the 3 away fixtures in a row. Both teams had chances cleared off the line before Charlie Austin scored the only goal of the game to end a run of 4 matches without a goal for the striker. Charlie Austin was again Swindon's hero as they took maximum points from the trip to Southampton. Austin's 15th of the season was a magnificent finish, and despite Simon Ferry's dismissal for 2 yellow cards, Swindon held on for a huge win over a team who were one of their rivals for a playoff place. Like Swindon, Norwich had suffered a heavy defeat on the opening day of the season, and, like Swindon, the Canaries had recovered in fine style. The League One leaders moved ahead through Grant Holt, and they held that lead until stoppage time at the end of the match, when Gordon Greer headed in a corner from Alan Sheehan to give Swindon a deserved point.
Well, we stuck to our task very well, and yeah, we come away with a 1-1. I'm sure that Paul will be disappointed because it's so late, but I think overall, I think we deserve that.
Back in October, Hartlepool had won 2-0 at the county ground, so Swindon travelled to the North East determined to gain revenge against Danny Wilson's former club. And they got it. Charlie Austin's first half goal secured a 1-0 victory. March had started with 2 defeats, but Swindon had responded well with 3 wins and a draw against the League One leaders. Next up, a trip to Ellen Road to face second place Leeds United.
There were different aspects to everybody's game that improved, and they did it together as a squad really well.
We weren't just relying on the big clubs to get big performances, we were grinding them out away from home as well. But then when it comes to the crunch match, when teams are around you, that was an important game for us.
This match changed Swindon's views of what they could get out of the season. A playoff place was already looking a strong possibility. Victory at Ellen Road put Town into the automatic promotion positions at the top of League One. A goal at either side of half-time from Billy Painter put Swindon in charge. His second, an absolute stunner, as Painter took his total for the season up to 24 goals. Norwich were well clear at the top of League One, so it seemed the race was all about who would go up with the Norfolk club. Swindon assured themselves of moving above Leeds into second spot with a 3rd goal. It came from Charlie Austin, his 17th of the campaign. A magnificent afternoon. Swindon beating Leeds both home and away, 3-0 on each occasion. Would there be a hangover from the Leeds result when Tranmere came to the county ground 48 hours later on Easter Monday? Certainly not, as Swindon extended their unbeaten run to 6. Tranmere defender Ben Gordon scored an early own goal. And Swindon scored again just before half-time when Terry Gornell was sent off following an incident in the penalty area. Up stepped Mr. Reliable, Billy Painter, for another assured spot kick. John Paul McGovern often provided the final ball that led to a Swindon goal over the course of the season, and he did so again for the 3rd of the afternoon. Another goal for Charlie Austin. 5 wins and a draw in their last 6 for Swindon. It was looking good for automatic promotion, but what followed over the final few weeks of the season took that dream away. With Millwall, Leeds and Charlton just behind them in the table, Swindon knew they had to keep their excellent run going. But nothing went right for them at Colchester, who took the lead through Ashley Vincent. Swindon were convinced Vincent had committed a foul before scoring, but the referee wasn't of the same opinion. Anthony Wordsworth extended Colchester's lead, and when Wordsworth scored his second of the match, defeat was confirmed, and Swindon were out of the top two. 2 days after the Colchester defeat, Swindon faced Exeter at the County Ground in a match brought forward to Monday in order to be shown live on TV. Exeter, fighting to avoid relegation, almost took the 3 points after James Dunn scored 4 minutes before half-time. Swindon simply couldn't find a way past a stubborn Exeter defence and were extremely grateful when Matt Taylor scored an own goal deep into stoppage time to earn a point. Having been thankful for a point against Exeter, Swindon were disappointed with only a point against Walsall. Steve Jones put the Midlands team in front a minute before half-time, before Charlie Austin equalised early in the second period. With Millwall having lost the previous night and Leeds and Charlton both losing on the same day, this was a missed opportunity for Swindon to reinforce their automatic promotion credentials. The last match of April, and the third to last of the League One season, saw Swindon travel to a Wycombe team who are fighting hard to avoid relegation. For the second successive match, Swindon conceded just before half-time, Matt Bloomfield scoring for Wycombe. Swindon equalised 2 minutes into the second half, Billy Painter turning in John Paul McGovern's cross. With quarter of an hour remaining, McGovern fouled Kevin Betsy, and former Swindon man Alex Revel restored the home side's lead, but not from the resulting penalty, which was saved by David Lucas. The referee and assistant judged that the ball had crossed the line, despite Scott Cuthbert's best efforts. Cuthbert then created another equaliser for Swindon, Alan Sheehan with the finish to make it 2-2. But Swindon couldn't get another goal, their third successive draw and fourth match without a win. So with 2 matches remaining, Swindon were in 4th spot, 4 points behind Leeds in 2nd.
The Millwall game, that was a big game for us going there. On the day, you know, I don't think anybody can argue about it on the day. I think everybody thought they had a chance, we had a chance, Leeds had a chance, Charlton had a chance, Huddersfield had a chance. Charlton had a chance of going up on the last day. And I've never known such an exciting day, last day, in any of the leagues since I've played. You know, since I've been in the game 30 years, I've never known that.
Every Swindon fan was desperate to know what was happening to the teams around them in the table on the penultimate weekend of the regular season. But the main priority was a Swindon win. Brentford were unbeaten in their previous 11, but were powerless to prevent Billy Painter putting Town in front after 8 minutes. David Hunt equalised for the visitors, but Swindon were back in front by the break. Danny Ward on the end of the cross from John Paul McGovern. Just before the hour mark, Painter scored his second of the afternoon to make it 3-1 to Swindon. But it didn't stay that way for long, as Ben Strevens pulled a goal back for Brentford. Charlton beat Leeds on the same day, while Millwall lost, so there was everything to play for going into the last scheduled match of the season. With Norwich already League One champions, it was a 4-horse race as to who would go up with the Canaries. Leeds came into the final weekend in 2nd place, 1 point ahead of Millwall and Swindon, with Charlton a further point behind. However, Millwall's better goal difference meant that Swindon had to win at the New Den and then hope that Leeds didn't beat Bristol Rovers at Elland Road to go up automatically. Danny Ward's goal after just 2 minutes was just the start Swindon would have wanted. But the lead didn't last for long. A foul by Jonathan Douglas led to a penalty, which Steve Morrison scored from, and it was 1-1 at half-time. Both teams were thrilled when they heard that Leeds had gone behind to Bristol Rovers, and it was Millwall who scored the next goal. Morrison's cross turned into the Swindon net by Gordon Greer, the captain unfortunate to score an own goal. At this stage, Millwall were in the automatic promotion place, but not for long, as news came through from Yorkshire that Leeds were now winning. 16 minutes from the end, Millwall strengthened their lead. Morrison's second of the afternoon, making it 3-1. Alan Sheehan's free kick was turned in by Billy Painter for a second goal from Swindon. However, the afternoon ended in disappointment for both these teams. Both were in the playoffs, but they wouldn't meet each other in the semi-finals. Third-place Millwall were up against Huddersfield, while Swindon would face Charlton.
So when we got to the area we were in the playoffs, it was important that we didn't want the boys to feel like they did when they held second place and then lost it, and that was a disappointment for them. We didn't want that to happen again, and I certainly didn't. So that's the direction we wanted the boys to work in. Was, hey, come on, let's have a go. Nothing to lose.
The first leg resulted in a 1-goal lead and a 2-1 scoreline, the narrowest of advantages despite 15 attempts on goal. More than 13,000 witnessed a special night at SN1. Also watching and not playing, unfortunately, the injured Billy Painter. But it began so brightly for Town. Charlie Austin denied an opener with just 2 minutes on the clock. Then Alan Sheehan played in Danny Ward. Second half, Swindon would unlock the Charlton defence. Alan Sheehan's cross met by who else? Charlie Austin, his 20th of a remarkable First League season. 8 minutes later, 1 became 2. Simon Ferry pouncing on the opportunity to break. Danny Ward drilling in a second on the hour. But the tie was put back in the balance just 5 minutes later as Dion Burton pulled a goal back for Charlton. The comfort zone could have been restored but for the woodwork as Vincent Perricard attempted to make it 3. As it was, the semi-final would be finely poised for the return. And so to the Valley just 3 days later. 3,000 Town fans hoping that Swindon were just 1 game away from their first Wembley appearance in 17 years. And a huge boost, top scorer Billy Painter had recovered from injury. And promoted to the starting 11, fullbacks Lesniel Jean-Francois and Stephen Darby. But the planned changes didn't account for what happened in the 4th minute. For the 3rd time in the season, Phil Smith would be called on at very short notice.
He'll just be claimed by Lucas. Now he might have picked up a shoulder injury here, the Swindon Town goalkeeper. As the ball was headed on. It's the way he falls, really, the goalkeeper, rather than any blame attached to any other player. You can see him there coming over the top. So Lucas has to go off injured, and on comes Phil Smith in his place. I'm sure as he was sitting on the bench as the match kicked off, he never envisaged that he'd be coming on within a couple of minutes of the game getting underway. Reid will go for goal himself, and it was a slightly awkward one for Smith to deal with. Might just have seen this late, the substitute goalkeeper, with a couple of defenders in front of him. Borrodale with it. Smith flapped at it, and it's gone in! Charlton Athletic lead on the night, and they are back on level terms on aggregate. It's an own goal by Ferry. Smith couldn't reach it, and it was turned into his own net by Ferry. An extraordinary own goal. Pressure from Christian Daly. Well, he couldn't have hooked that better into his net had he tried. Calamity for Swindon, delight for Charlton. Borrodale forward, and will look for the return pass as well, and gets it from Kyle Reid, and returns to Faber. Reid has broken clear here now, able to pull it back. It's a wonderful goal for Charlton Athletic. David Mooney makes it 2-0 at the Valley. Terrific build-up on this near side. Borrowdale and Reid. Reid just shrugging off the attentions there of Derby. And it was a lovely ball back straight into the path of David Mooney. And the man on loan from Reading may very well have fired Charlton Athletic to Wembley. Charlton lead by 2 goals to 0 and by 3 goals to 2 on aggregate. Greer, a little bit of space to work in. Ferry. McGovern's calling for it on that far side. Derby was closed down and dispossessed. Swindon have it back though with Greer. Delicate little lob over the top. It's towards Charlie Austin. Randolph with the save. And it was Greer's little ball over the top. Austin taking it away from the defender. But Randolph out quickly. Burton. Oh, that's a high foot. Could be a yellow card. Greer. It's a red card. Gordon Greer is dismissed. This is the challenge. It's a high ball, the follow-through catching Burton. And the night has just got an awful lot worse for Swindon. 2-0 down on the evening, 3-2 down on aggregate, now 1 man down. Bailey, options left and right for the Charlton captain, just away by O'Brien. McGovern, racing forward, John Paul McGovern. It's a determined run. Did he lose his footing? He probably did. Oh, it's been turned in! Danny Ward! A really messy goal, but Swindon won't care about that at all. Confusion in defence, and Danny Ward pounced. Unbelievable, as far as the Swindon fans are concerned. McGovern with the run forward. He loses his footing there. Everybody seemed to stop. It's a goal for Swindon. The all-important goal for Swindon. Is there a moment to take a team to Wembley? Is that a foul? Lira pulling back Austin. It is! Lira's off. We're level at 3-3 overall, and we are level now at 10 men apiece. Miguel Lira is dismissed. Charlie Austin looking to go past the defender here. Well, there's hand on the shoulders there of Austin. But does Lira pull him back? Given away by Douglas. Racon gets his first touch. Oh, that's a terrific ball through the middle. Forster. It's Nicky Forster. Pass 2, looking to place it. Smith with the save, and Swindon scramble it clear. The ball through from Racon. Forster onto it in a flash. Away from 2 defenders. The bottom corner was the target. Smith across though. Good strong wrists to push it away. Racon, Richardson still outside him. Comes off Derby. Throw in taken quickly. Teddy Racon. Looking to place it! Smith pushes it over. Smith making the save, and it was a good save as well. Borrowdale able to recover his footing. Richardson off the outside of the post. The Ball fell nicely there for Fraser Richardson, and he struck it superbly. It flew past Smith, fortunately for Swindon, away off the upright. We're going to penalties to determine which of these two teams goes to Wembley. Burton up against Phil Smith. That's a terrific penalty. Huge relief for Charlton Athletic. McGovern, 1-1. Not the cleanest of penalties. Nicky Bailey steps forward then for Charlton. The captain up against Smith. And Bailey's put it wide! Strikes it firm, strikes it hard, strikes it off target. When you want a man to put your team in front in a penalty shootout, Charlie Austin would be that man for Swindon. Can he put Swindon 2-1 up? Yes, he can! To Swindon. Forster. Terrific penalty. Kevin Amankwa. Can he maintain Swindon's advantage in the shootout? He does! Randolph got a hand to it, and just for a moment Charlton supporters may have thought that Randolph had made a save. Christian Daly, 36 years old. That's a very good penalty indeed. Danny Ward, a young man on loan from Bolton. He scored in the last 4 matches for Swindon. This to make it 4-3. Phil Parkinson's team have to score this penalty. Fraser Richardson to keep Charlton's dreams alive. Well, he's done that. 4 out of 5 for Charlton Athletic, but it's 4 out of 4 for Swindon Town. If Swindon score this penalty kick, they are through to the Wembley final. Derby. Swindon are going to Wembley. Stephen Derby with the winning penalty. Swindon Town successful with all 5 of their spot kicks. And Swindon Town go through to the League One playoff final.
The joy at the Valley was unconfined. Now there were 12 days and counting to Town's Wembley appearance.
We've been blessed a little bit because we've had a few injuries, you know, so that really has worked in our favour.
What do you see in that team right now?
I see fun, I see relaxation, I see taking the mickey out of each other. Very relaxed, which is great from my point of view, because in that respect, you know, they're not that uptight that they won't be able to put in the performance that we expect them to do, and still be focused and thinking about what the job in hand is. I've said many times before, there's few and far between these times for players, you know, and it's such a short career. A lot of players will never have the opportunity to play at Wembley, let alone in a game as big as this, you know, that decides the promotion. So they've got to try and enjoy it, but enjoyment comes with winning, you know, and ultimately. So with a bit of luck, you know, they can enjoy the build-up, but when it comes to the actual game itself, be very focused and give it their all.
I said to Danny at the beginning of the season, our objective was to get to the playoffs. And I said to him before the first game against Charlton, I went into his room, shut the door with him and Peter, and I said, I just want you guys to know all the objectives have been achieved, because that was the objective. Anything else now is a bonus. You know, you don't have to worry about me from any point of view if we don't win tonight, or we don't win the semi-final, or we don't win the final, because we achieved the objective we set for ourselves. We've overachieved, you could argue now. But what does it mean to the club, and what does it mean to the town? What's it mean to these players? These lads may never play at Wembley again. Who knows who some of these players are? No, they're not household names, they're not David Beckhams and so on. This is their chance for somebody to say, hey, you know, I saw that boy play on television, he was fabulous. And for the town, Swindon hasn't had a lot to shout about for the last couple of years, and we're in difficult economic times, and Swindon's been hit probably as hard as anywhere, if not harder. I think this has created a real buzz around the town, and I'd be disappointed if you like, the town as a whole and the council and the MPs and so on didn't use this as a bit of a catalyst to boost the town. It could be a great opportunity for everybody finally to say, hey, this is something we've got to really be proud of.
All the playing preparations at the county ground were complete. The team's trip to Wembley starts a day before the fans. They've been given special time to acclimatise at the home of English football.
It's unbelievable, man.
They've got the England home dressing room. Steven Gerrard and his national teammates sit here on a regular basis. And Stevie is one person who's taken a special interest in Swindon's season since Stephen Darby, the Liverpool loanee, arrived. And when Darby scored that all-important winning penalty in the Charlton playoff semi, who was one of the first people to text?
Yeah, I got a text off Gerrard and Carragher, which is really nice of them to take the time to send me a text of well done and good luck. They realise the pressure that the lads are under and that myself was under, so it's nice of them to take the time to send a text.
But there is, of course, more fallout from that semi-final. Gordon Greer, the team's captain for a whole season, is suspended and won't play in this one special showpiece.
Not always the best 11 players will make the best team. I think you know, when they named the team of the year and all that, none of the Swindon players were in there, but you know, I think we're a really good team, and I think we'll definitely merit to be here today.
If you need to fight in the trenches, you'd take these boys with you, wouldn't you?
Yeah, definitely. We all work hard for each other, and as I say, it'll be a real tough game, but it's one that we feel that we can do really well in.
You can contribute a great deal in these next few days, leading up to the game and at the game. You know, it'll be in and around the dressing room and on the bench to offer his support to the rest of the boys. So that'd be great, you know. But really, you know, it's very, very difficult to take if you're missing this big game.
It's a great honour for me to lead the team out in the final. It's just bad luck on Gordy, really. He should be doing it. He's been a great captain all year, and hopefully when if we win the game, then he can come up and rightly so pick up the trophy.
You're on the phone taking photographs. Who are you sending them to?
Sending to my mum and dad and that, and my family and friends. I sent the same picture about 10 times, I think. But well, never mind.
It's got to be done.
Yeah, it's got to be. It could be a once in a lifetime thing. Hopefully not.
Time 2 for a team meeting where Danny sets the tone for the next 24 hours.
We've been here today for a reason today. This is to get the surroundings, feel the surroundings, and that's what today's about. Tomorrow, as you know, we come and work. We're all going to be starstruck tomorrow. We're going to be fucking rabbits in the headlight when we walk in that stadium. It's totally different than today, I promise you. Brilliant tomorrow. Once you walk down that tunnel and get out in the atmosphere, will be totally different than this now. Well, these surroundings will not.
Next stop, a hotel and their refuge away from the spotlight for one special evening before the big event. Keeping the squad relaxed and positive. For the coaching staff, this is key right now. So one football ritual comes just at the right time. Kurt Hammonds checks his makeshift microphone is working.
When the night has come, the land is gone.
Any player who is on his first away trip has to sing a song to his teammates at evening dinner. Just because this is pre-Wembley doesn't mean important rituals aren't being observed. Gordon Greer can't play, but he can keep his team spirits high.
Get us in here, mate. Yeah. So, Alan's got this tattoo, Brian's got a wee thing there. You know what I mean? Because he's Irish. What's top draw at that? What do you think, Alan? Because you're like an expert, you and Billy with the tattoos. So
what's your opinion on the tunes, lad?
Hey, you're the flip. What's he coming for you, lad? Yeah. What a guy.
What's he talking about, tunes?
Oh, no, what
are you talking about? I don't know.
The team couldn't be better prepared. As Swindon move into work mode, final day has arrived.
It's a great group. Like I say, we've got a great mix, and hopefully we can take that onto the field today.
Another away game ritual is being observed as well. A bit of rain isn't getting in the way of the pre-match walk.
And how many walks have you been on?
Loads, yeah, in all weathers. They're a bit punchy really, but it just stretches the lads' legs for 10 or 12 minutes. It's part of the, the whole ethos of the thing, but I'm sure they'll be feeling great at the moment.
All part of the routine, but pretty important, isn't it?
Well, it is. It's just have a little stretch and you get a bit of fresh air, but it's nice and tranquil here, as you well know, So they seem very calm. They seem very, very focused, which is brilliant.
Is that what you're taking in as you watch your players at this time of the day?
Yeah, you just have a little look round and see one or two. You can tell if they're nervous or not, and if you feel that they are, you can have a little chat with them and just try and calm them down a little bit. But they look great. I've not talked to anybody, quite honestly.
The squad's journey to Wembley is mirrored over and over again back in Swindon, as more than 30,000 leave the town in a fleet of buses.
It's absolutely brilliant. Best day for Swindon for a long time.
Come on, Swindon!
After 48 games of a long, arduous season, it all comes down to one more, the biggest of the lot, to decide which of these two teams will be playing in the second tier of English football next season. Swindon are back at Wembley, where they've never lost. Millwall return to the scene and the game of their heartache from just 12 months ago. 4 players remain from Millwall's starting 11 that day when they were beaten by Scunthorpe, who had Liam Trotter in their victorious squad. He's back today with Millwall rather than against them. Leading scorer Steve Morrison has won and scored twice at Wembley with previous club Stevenage, while former Swindon defender Jack Smith misses out through injury, so there's a start for Sean Batt. Swindon are without skipper Gordon Greer, who was sent off at Charlton in their semi-final second leg, but Alan Sheehan is fit enough to return to a defence that also includes Kevin Akamwa. They'll look again to their big players on their big day, namely their two strikers, Billy Painter and Charlie Austin, who've scored 49 of the team's 83 goals this season between them. It's a return to the championship that is the huge carrot dangled in front of these two teams, who finished 3rd and 5th respectively in the relegation season. We've had heavy rain all day, so there's a real zip to the Wembley surface, which Millwall of course know all about from 12 months ago. And it is Millwall with their first attack. Bat is stopped by Douglas. So much at stake today, very little to choose between these two teams. Martin Keown is alongside me.
Yes, Millwall under Kenny Jackett, very direct, and of course Danny Wilson likes his team to pop the ball around, so two completely different philosophies today on view.
It's now Schofield. Morrison trying to stay onside, and he has. Steve Morrison goes for the chip, and just over the bar from Millwall's leading goal scorer. Bowden, who's now the Swindon Town under-18 manager, who scored in their dramatic 4-3 playoff win against Leicester when they got into the Premier League and the Glenn Hoddle. Painter knew it was coming, cleverly done. Austin took it first time, and way off target in the end. From Charlie Austin.
Yeah, I mean, the ball in, look, Painter backing in, that's what he does well at. He just decides to hit one from distance.
Harris. Here's Sean Batt. Useful delivery towards Trotters, an own goal. The flag is up though and it won't count.
You look at it when it goes wide. I think it's Batts in the middle, standing in an offside position. He whips it in, as it's played, he's offside, but he doesn't actually contact, it's the defender.
Here's Ward, the game beginning to open up a touch. Painter. This is Ferry. Sheehan went for goal. Always rising from Alan Sheehan. Just the one goal in Swindon colours. Swindon yet to have a corner in this game. They have another one to defend. Schofield's delivery all the way through, peels for handball and in from Harris. Millwall in front, and would you believe it, it's the club record goal scorer who's yet to win in the playoffs with Millwall, who puts them in front.
Wow, this great moment for Millwall. He shouldn't be getting that sort of space, especially with the record he's got, scoring goals from set pieces.
So it's Swindon Town, trailing by a goal to nil, who get us underway in the second half as they look to change the scoreline against Millwall, who are trying to change their luck from 12 months ago. Swindon, incidentally, in all white today, opting to playing that strip and not their more recognisable red one. The superstitious ones amongst them, going back to their biggest day of their history at Wembley in 1969, when they beat Arsenal in the League Cup final. They wore all white. Frampton's throw. As always, looking for Morrison, but it's fallen to Douglas. And Sheehan. Ferry. Ward. Really hasn't been able to get into this final as yet. Danny Ward. Douglas has picked out McGovern. Amanka on the overlap. McGovern went for the central option instead, and it's cleared by Darren Ward for a Swindon throw, and they have a response from their supporters. Much better from Swindon. Morrison the outlet for Millwall again. Here he is, the leading scorer. He's looking for Bat down the middle, and Bat might just get there if he gets back on his feet here. Excellent covering, challenged by Cuthbert.
Yeah, he did very well there. Saw the danger of Bat making the run, and he's got the pace to match his run, and excellent defending. It's better though from Swindon.
Sheehan. This is Austin. Tried to go over the central defender, and in the end Ward was just too big and strong for him.
It is, but it just shows you now suddenly more belief, passing it around, popping it into space, and we've got a real game on our hands.
So much at stake on this game. The Swindon chief executive saying prior to it, if they were to get promoted into the Championship, they estimate they will double their turnover. Amanka. And Swindon try and get level in this playoff final. Painter's touch. Away by Robinson. Now Trotter for Millwall. Familiar run of Steve Morrison in the channel. Up against Cuthbert, only Harris up with him. It's still Morrison. Cuthbert got back to do just enough. More concentration required from Swindon now. They've already conceded from one set play. Schofield's delivery towards Morrison. Swindon survive.
You know, it's those set pieces again, it's their strength.
Forward by Frampton. He's found Harris. Now Schofield. Good play. Driven at the legs of Lucas. Run back by Jimmy Abdu. Morrison waits in the penalty area. Schofield once more. In from Harris. Oh, Trotter almost got a touch. Then to Morrison. And away by Cuthbert. Good pressure from Millwall, and it's still not clear. Schofield once again. Abdu. A disappointing end in the end from the midfielder.
Just a little taster from Millwall. Gets to the byline, and with his feet as well, the keeper does excellently well.
McGovern's delivery. Flatter one this time. Free header for Jean-Francois, and plucked out of the air by Ford.
Well, look, he's going away from the goal. Difficult to generate that power that you need. There's two players going down now with cramp. You know, I think the nerves play a big part in these games, Steve, you know.
Not just for the players, but for the supporters as well.
Yeah, she looks particularly nervous.
Stephen Darby looks as though he's getting instructions from Danny Wilson, the on-loan Liverpool player. He's about to come on at Wembley Stadium. The man whose penalty in the shootout at Charlton got Swindon here in the first place. Jean-Francois in ahead of Morrison, helped on by Danny Ward. Oh, the mistake, and this could be the moment. It's Charlie Austin for Swindon Town, and he's missed it. A golden opportunity. And Charlie Austin couldn't hit the target.
Look at this, he just puts it in his path, and off goes Austin, and you think it's just going to be a formality, and then puts it wide. I mean, I'm just wondering whether the ball lifts as he goes to play it. But Austin, you know, look at him, I think this takes a bobble. Look at this ball just sit up as he goes to hit it.
Scott Barron to take the free kick for Millwall. Goalkeeper's come a long way again. He didn't get anywhere near it, and it's cleared by Cuthbert. from virtually off the line. Then away by Jean-Francois, and then by Billy Painter. Another change for Swindon, and it's Vincent Perregard who is going to replace the top scorer, Billy Painter.
Yeah, I think Painter really has got every reason to wonder why he's been taken off. Your top goal scorer, you know, maybe you want him in for a tap-in. He seems a bit surprised by it.
Last minute, last chance saloon for Swindon. In from Ferry, away by Ward. They need to pick this second ball up. It's Austin. Amankwa. It's all about the quality of delivery now. Over Douglas, Austin slipped, blocked, and then the goalkeeper parries and wide for a corner.
He's flapped to this, as Austin, he slips, still manages to get something on it. Keeper goes and it just goes through his hands.
Last chance saloon. The goalkeeper Lucas is up for this as well. It needs to be a good one. It was a dreadful one, and it's headed away comfortably by Morrison. The last few seconds, back in from Derby, but it's to no avail. After 4 seasons away, Millwall are back in the Championship.
What did you say to Charlie Austin afterwards?
I mean, when the chance came anyway, we knew it was a bubble. You know, we didn't have to look at the TV again. We would have put a house on him scoring that goal until the bubble. I mean, what can you do? It's just fate, I suppose, in that respect. It's quite ironic that the pitch gets a bit of criticism at Wembley, and it happens in a key moment. But that's far from Charlie's fault. I think the reason we're in this position is because of the goals that Charlie scored. Without them, we possibly wouldn't be here. So he had no reproach at all.
We've achieved everything we expected to achieve, and maybe everything we hoped to achieve, except one thing.
We've got a lot of young players. They can be immensely proud of what they've done this season.
It's been remarkable, really, because I think if you look at it in the cold light today and you look at the things that people have achieved this season, the players we've brought in and how well they've played, results we've had, performances we've had, it's been exceptional. You look at the last game and everything hinges on that, and I said before that it shouldn't be that. You know, it shouldn't be a season of disappointment. Say, oh, we've failed to do this, that, or the other. We should look at it as the progress we're making, and we have made great strides. You know, and it just unfortunately it's 90 minutes of where you're going to play your football next season. But to be given the opportunity to play in a different level and a higher level, I think that just shows how far we've come.
Penalty for the town. Here comes Stephen Derby. Stephen Derby has put Swindon on Wembley. Swindon are on Wembley. They've won the penalty shootout.
We made once again a second on Wembley Stadium. Dawn's got to beat the Arsenal and leaving us on the floor. Do you remember Hussey's dream that fell apart at the sea? Still huddling, go restore the dream. No, we must never falter. In this together, we are Swindon Town, and we're playing for each other to achieve the dream, to achieve the dream. They said we shouldn't make it again, but we stood strong until the end. Especially St. Mary's that night, when Charlie set the place alight. Then there was a road, we were in another world. Whistling cold and set the scene, now we must go and conquer. We're in this together, 'cause we are Swindon Town, and we're playing for each other, and we won't let one another down. Now we're singing this together, 'cause we are Swindon now, and we're waiting for our Now we're singing this together, 'cause we are Swindon Town. Now we're waiting for our moment to achieve the dream. For Swindon Town, for Swindon Town, for Swindon Town.
Favourite film?
Favourite film, Trainspotting.
Music? What do you like?
I like Fleetwood Mac and the Jam and all that, old school.
EastEnders or Coronation Street?
EastEnders, Pat Butcher's my favourite bird.
Hardest player you played against?
Gareth Barry in pre-season. Absolutely brilliant is.
The most talented player you played against?
Aidan McGeady at Celtic in training.
Best dressed?
Best myself, definitely.
Worst dressed?
Worst dressed, Jakob. He's Polish and it's shocking. Brian Adams jeans every day.
Best haircut?
Best haircut, I'm going for mine at 2 o'clock, so after that me.
Worst?
Scotty Cuthbert, he's gone bald at 19.
Best moment in football?
Beating Leeds 3-0 Tuesday night.
TV meal or 5-star slapper restaurant?
5-star slapper, only the best for me.
A night in with the missus or night out with the boys?
Can't get a missus, so it'll need to be a night out with the boys.
Billy Painter, striker.
66.
Phil Smith, goalkeeper.
71. Hey. Ooh. Ooh.
Listen, Jean-François, defender.
Yeah.
Listen, Jean-François.
What car did you drive?
Vauxhall Corsa.
What car do you drive now?
Audi A3.
How many people are you playing in front of?
200.
How many people do you play in front of here?
10,000.
Did you think anything was going to change when you were playing on a park pitch?
No.
Anything else that's different?
Everything you could have possibly imagine. Honestly, everything. I didn't grow, and I wasn't enjoying football. It was just like going and just playing with the same age, but they're a lot bigger than you, and it was just something I wasn't enjoying. So I just wanted to play with my friends again, and then they told me that they wasn't going to carry on, like sign me on, and I was just like, okay. Yeah, I did know I was a lot better than average, but when I was playing with my friends, but it didn't faze me one bit. I thought if someone's going to see me, they'll see me, but I didn't think anyone would watch me. Why didn't anyone want to come and spend a Saturday afternoon watching a park pitch?
all you imagined it was going to be, or have you been surprised?
More, a lot more than what I imagined. It's unbelievable. Like the fans, the people at the club, the players, everything.
How's the boys taking you out? Do you have lots of girls following you? Bet you love it.
Yeah, we went out. The boys have been out. We have been out, but and the girls do come around, but they're for the better-looking players of the team.
And it wasn't the goals that he scored that impressed me more than anything. It was the fact that he puts himself in areas where he can score. And I thought, well, if he does that, you know, at this level, his instinct will take him into the areas in professional level, you know, and we can give him fitness, you know, but we can't give him instinct, you know, and so we just thought we'll have a little gamble on him, you know. So my chairman stumped up loads of money, I can tell you, and we brought Charlie down, and he's done absolutely brilliantly.
Yeah, what was that undisclosed fee?
I think it was undisclosed.
First goal, how good?
Unbelievable, you know. I didn't even see the ball at the net. I didn't. I just hit the ball, and next thing I just knew it was in, and I just couldn't believe it. It was like, looked at the clock at 3 minutes, and I was just like, wow, this is my debut, and I've scored. I couldn't believe it.
Which do you reckon has been your best goal so far for the town?
The one against Leeds at home to make it 1-0. It was a big game. There was a big crowd there, and it was good to get off to a good start.
We noticed your hand has been in plaster for a few weeks. Is that from signing loads of autographs, or was it when you were drunk?
No, I don't drink, mate. Signing autographs. When I first signed, people was asking me for autographs, and I'm thinking, well, like 3 weeks ago I was working on a building site now. It's crazy, honestly. It's unbelievable.
You need a hide like a rhinoceros at times because you know you're going to get the mickey taken out of you, but that's part of the territory.
Top man, Dick. Looks after us, didn't you, Dick?
Yeah, it's a sort of captive audience you got here, but they need reassuring, and I think if you can explain why you're doing things and with the experience maybe you've had on a given injury, I think it helps. You know, you try and, I wouldn't educate it, that's too grandiose, but you know, you try and advise. We put this on Kevin's hamstrings. There is some evidence that it can help.
But there's one player who you desperately need to play in the side, and what do you say to him?
I don't put any pressure on him at all. No, far from it. No, I've been caught out like that too many times, and I think that I'm not physio. I'm not medical whatsoever. The only experience I've had is in management and seeing other people injured and my own injuries, and I tend to keep out of the way.
You're aware the manager wants players. You know, that's part and parcel of it. But the manager's not going to say we want him at all costs. It's counterproductive, isn't it, in the end? So yeah, you know, it's just reaching out. I remember when the club doctor said, "Don't assume anything." Or don't accept the obvious, and that's very true with football. You can never tell what's around the corner with them.
But there are managers who do that, put that pressure on.
Do you think so? That's not for me to comment on, really.
I'm sure there is. Of course there is. I mean, there's got to be managers who don't have a squads, to cope with that.
Hopefully they won't get muddy. I don't want to get on the pitch. Quite happy to rest and watch at afar.